US 1 Radio News time is 8:21. Morning Magazine with Bill Becker continues.
Thank you, Chuck. And joining us right now in the studio, Key West mayoral candidate Randy Becker.
Good morning.
Good morning, Randy. Welcome to the Morning Magazine. Thanks for coming up and joining us here in the studio.
Well, glad to.
Question we ask all the candidates, why are you running? Why do you want to be mayor of Key West?
I want to be mayor of Key West because I love the city of Key West. This is going to be the home the rest of my life. But I also think it could be better than it is. I think we need to make some changes in the city. I think the current mayor's had his 7 years, but some important things just didn't get done. And I think I have a different focus than he has.
What didn't get done? What do you think?
Well, one of the examples I think of is the bridge across Admiral's Cut. You know, we have this big disjunction down there at the waterfront that you can walk along the waterfront, and then you come to this place, you can't go any further. And with the big new park developing at Truman Waterfront, there should be a bridge there. It's been talked about for 10 years, but nothing's been done. And the mayor says the basis of government is protecting individual property rights, and I say it's taking care of the common good. I think the bridge serves the common good. Why hasn't that been taken care of?
There's also the issue of the waterfront down there and the city being barred from use by the Navy. Do you think the city should take on the Navy and try to get that use of that waterfront back?
I don't. My feeling is the Navy knows what it's doing, and I don't see a use for that. I hear people talking about bringing in ships to unload cargo. I mean, that's not going to happen. We want to be on good terms with the Navy. We don't want to be at war with the Navy because we know where that would end up.
In your advertising, you say we should not be just compensating for the neglect of the past. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
That we ought to be planning ahead. I think that the city needs to have a vision for itself, and not just a vision that ends up in being buildings, but where do we want to be in 10 or 15 years? Where do we want to have the city be in terms of the quality of life for people, the nature of what we're doing together, all those sort of services? We're spending a fortune right now catching up. The City Hall is a good example of how much we spent on that, where that building was known to be deteriorating on Angela Street for a number of years, but they waited till it became an emergency. Too many emergency fixes, not enough planning, and not enough vision.
Affordable housing, what would you do to help the city? I mean, the city seems to be locked in action almost.
Inaction, yeah. That's another one of the things that hasn't happened 7 years. Where's it gone? Except for the one purchase of what is really a moderate income housing. But affordable housing, a number of things. Instead of suggesting there's only one solution, let's talk about many solutions. Let's talk about looking at all the empty lots the city owns around the town and saying let's infill those with smaller properties. 4 units here, 8 units here. Eventually it adds up. Maybe we should be looking at tiny housing options as well. The small housing movement. We don't have to have mansions. We can have much more discrete units. The development with developers, providing the land and kept by the city forever so that developers will develop more affordable housing. I think there's an argument that's made also that's unfortunate that's been gone along with by the present mayor that when a developer comes and wants to develop something, well, we'll change the rules. We'll lower the number of affordable units required. We'll change things like that. And I think it's important that we stick by the rules. We say a certain level is what we want. Let's go with that level and not case by case say, well, not this time, not this time. It's been 7 years of not this time.
The hospital has been a big issue lately. Where do you think the city should fit into this in terms of finding a solution, getting things back on track?
Well, I think a mayor of the city of Key West could be a facilitator of trying to get that back on track. Not taking one position or another, but helping out, finding consensus where we can deal with issues. We've got this meeting coming up on Thursday night at Old City Hall to talk about this, and I hope it won't be a gripe session. I hope it will be a vision session in which people will say, this is what we want in our medical center. This is what you want in our hospital. We know there were mistakes made in the past. Dealing or focusing on those will not fix the future. But thinking about what we want and being able to tell the administration, here is what we want. But also we need to have more of this stuff out in the open. There's too many meetings that are going on behind closed doors.
The mayor chairs the city commission meetings. How do you think you could do a better job than Mayor Cates?
Well, among other things, I think the role of chair, I see it differently. I believe that the chair helps facilitate the meeting and tries to arrive at a point of consensus rather than trying to arrive at a point of vote. Consensus means we talk enough to get to a point that everyone feels they can live with it, and then we vote on it rather than trying to get a win or lose situation. I also think the chair needs to understand parliamentary procedure, not as a weapon, but as a tool that helps people have meaningful conversation and informs the people on the commission about how they can use some of those devices and methods for what they want to get happen. Often I see people up there struggling to say, well, what do I do now? It should be the role of the chair to help them say, this is how we do this. I also think it's important that, remember, as a chair, you're not the big word. You're not the last word. You're not the dominant word. In fact, as a good leader, a good chair, you do more listening than you do talking.
Mm-hmm. What else do you think could bring to the mayor's post that might not be there now?
I'm not going to accept any contributions from corporations. So one of the things I'm going to bring is I won't be in the pocket of corporations. You know, we recently had the listing of $5,000 coming in from developers who were before the commission in the last couple of years. You're not going to find me having my campaign or personal pockets lined that way. So that's one big difference. I also want to be able to meet with people on a regular basis, once or twice a month, public sessions, probably one in the day and one in the evening, where people can come and address me as mayor and tell me what they want the mayor to hear. I'm not there to argue with them. I'm there to hear what the people have to say. And that's something that hasn't happened in 7 years. I also think the mayor's business should be done mainly in public, in open door, as few behind closed door sessions as possible. Only those ones that are required by law.
Mm-hmm. Any other final thoughts, Chair?
Well, I'm looking forward to serving the city of Key West as mayor, and I look forward to hearing from people, and that I have a website, randybeckerformayor.com, and I have position papers on the major issues in our city. If you go there, you'll be able to find them.
Okay, Randy Becker, no relation.
Right, yeah. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it.